Meeting as president. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Could you join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first order of business is the oath of office for the 2nd, 4th, and 6th Ward Commissioners, myself, Commissioner Riley, and Commissioner Childs. Meet me down below. All right, thank you everyone for your patience. The next item on the agenda is the election of president. I'm going to open up the table for motion.
I have a motion. I would move for Jim Riley to be nominated as president of the Board of Commissioners of Radnor Township.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Agnew. Are there any other nominees? Seeing none, let's vote on the election of President Jim Riley. All in favor? Aye? It's unanimous. Next is the election of Vice President of the Board of Commissioners. I'm going to open up the table for a motion there.
I have a motion. I would like to nominate Maggie Myers. Maggie Myers as Vice President of the Board of Commissioners.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Second by Commissioner Mulrooney. Any other candidates for nomination? Seeing none, I'll call a vote on that. All in favor of Maggie Myers as Vice President? Aye? Aye. And that's unanimous. Next is the appointment of our Township Solicitor, Mr. John Rice, from Grimm, Bain, and Thatcher. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, or any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Now we have the appointment of the Township Labor Attorney, Joseph C. Rudolph, from Clark Hill. Could I have a motion, please? So moved by Commissioner Riley, and a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mulrooney. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next, I have appointment of the Township Secretary and a designation of an Assistant Secretary. Township Secretary would be Bill White, and Assistant Secretary would be Peggy Hagan. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Agnew, and I'll second that. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Then I have appointments of liaisons to boards and commissions. For the Radnor Memorial Library, I have Commissioner Agnew and Commissioner Riley. For the Board of Health, I have myself, Commissioner Myers. Parks and Recreation, we have Commissioner Childs, who just gave up presidency of Parks and Recreation, so have a little consistency there. For the Environmental Advisory Council, I have Commissioner Agnew and Commissioner Riley. For Shade Tree Commission, I have Commissioner Coates. And for the Radnor Fire Company, I have Commissioner Larkin and Commissioner Mulrooney. I'd like to just do that as a slate. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved. And a second? Second by
Second.
Commissioner Larkin. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Then I have reappointments to boards and commissions. Reappointments to the Board of Health. I have Dr. Robert Desidue for a second term ending 12/31/2029. Dr. Aaron Ocker, first term ending 12/31/2029. And Chloe Fong for a first term ending 12/31/29. Again, I'm going to do this as a whole slate. We have the Environmental Advisory Council. Sven Dethlefs, first term ending 12/31/29. Bess Yates, first term ending 12/31/29. Then I have the Planning Commission. Michael Lahota, second term ending 12/31/29. All right, that would be 9A, reappointments. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Want to do this one? Go ahead.
Oh,
Right above here. 8.
sorry.
Not on the paper.
It's not on my paper.
But it's on the.
All right, hold on. Let me go to this. Thank you. That's, oh, I did skip the vacancy board. You're right. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back to, well, do we have a motion for that, first of all?
Oh, so moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Rightfully pointed out is I missed the appointment of a vacancy board chairperson. That would be Janie Lau, continuing in that post. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second. Second by Commissioner Larkin. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now I have appointments to boards and 9B, sorry, I'm all messed up. Resolution 2026-01, appointing Richard Weitzman for a second term ending December 31st, 2030, to the Radnor Township Zoning Hearing Board in accordance with the municipality's planning code. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Mulrooney, and a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Childs. Any discussion? Any public participation? Seeing none, I would ask to approve Resolution 2026-01. All in favor? Aye. Then we have appointments to boards and commissions. For the Board of Health, I have Alex Yiannopoulos for a first term ending 12/31/2029. On the Civil Service Commission, I have Linda Berman, member first term ending 12/31/31. Patricia Hillis Clark, member first term ending 12/31/31. The Environmental Advisory Council, I have William Gellis, first term ending 12/31/29, and Anjana Vidyaharan, first term ending 12/31/29. The Historical and Architectural Review Board, I have Monica Ortiz Cortez, first term ending 12/31/2030. Planning Commission, Matt Golis, first term ending 12/31/2029, and Shade Tree Commission, Tim Zimmerman, a partial term ending 12/31/2028. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Agnew, and a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Mulrooney. Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye? Unanimous. Excellent. That concludes our reorganizational meeting, and thank you for the reminding me that I forgot number 8 there. I would like a motion to adjourn. So moved by Commissioner Larkin, and a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Agnew. All in favor? Aye. We'll adjourn the organizational meeting, hand the gavel over to President Riley, and maybe take a 5-minute break, and we'll resume.
I would like to start the regular meeting tonight, January 5th, 2026. We're going to start off by calling the meeting to order, and if you would join me in doing the Pledge of Allegiance. So at the start of this meeting, we're going to have a couple amendments to the agenda. We're going to pull items in the business agenda 3J, 3K, 3L, 3M, and 3N. And then we're also going to add one item to the agenda, authorizing to send the township attorney to the zoning hearing board with regards to Wawa's application for variances.
So you need a motion to amend the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment?
Okay, sorry. Public comment from anyone. Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah Pilling, 44 years on Garrett Avenue. Sam Horsey died recently. He came to the Board of Commissioners with Barron and Bob Main and myself because of his concern for Garrett Hill. And on reflecting on this, I realized that he's the last of the African-American patriarchs in Garrett Hill. And I just want to lift them up. Spencer Geddes, Jim Carroll, Charles Harper, Don Sullivan, Mr. Charlie, Mr. Bennett, George Sidnor, and had Emlyn Tennell lived. And most of them lived on Garrett Avenue. Now, they were very obvious when I moved into Garrett Hill in 1982, and Sam was part of it. Sam was a member of the Army Reserve. At his funeral, he received the American flag. He was a postal worker. He was part of the Garrett Hill Town Watch during a time when we were overrun with student housing. And they kept order. They let us know what their expectations were. He was a member of the Wayne Garden Club, and he was a very strong member of he was a Catholic, of the chapel at Villanova University, serving as an usher. And often I would see him coming back from Mass, and he would stop to see various members of the community, taking them, although they may not have been Catholic, taking them the program from the service and making sure they were all right. It's a loss for Garrett Hill, and I just could not let it happen without marking it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Good evening. Do you not have the overhead projector tonight? I thought maybe you would. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that would be on or not.
I'm sorry to interrupt real quick, Mr. President. I just want to make a point of order. This is the public comment relative to the motion to amend the agenda. I don't think we're quite at public
thought you
comment
were.
for the
I'm sorry.
meeting yet.
Just
It'll be next, yeah.
That's on the consent agenda.
Oh, thank you. All right. On the motion, any public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay. I want to give notice to an executive session that happened before the meeting where we discussed legal and real estate issues. I would like to acknowledge a loss of another important Radnor community member, Cheryl Tomoli, and the commissioner is going to speak to that.
So I guess over these holidays, or I think we've lost two members. In particular, Cheryl Tomola. It was sudden. It was not only a loss to her family and friends in the neighborhood in South Wayne, but it was a grave loss for the township as a whole. For the past 25 years, there was probably almost no improvement to the life in Radnor Township that Cheryl was not part of forming. It was a lot of hard work, and she would never say she was the only one. There were many different committees that she was on, but if you look for any improvements into Radnor, you'd see Cheryl was part of it. When they pick up your recycling on Thursdays, or at least in the third ward on Thursdays, that's Cheryl. Our beautiful trail, not only was she worked with Mary Coe and some other citizens, but when you walk on our trail, it enables you some quiet, comfort, exercise, and conversation in a tree-lined setting. That's Cheryl Tomola. Our tree canopy and the preservation of our tree canopy through the Shade Tree Commission and the Radnor Conservancy, that was Cheryl Tomola. If you come to vote in the third ward, Cheryl was there as a volunteer, greeting you, taking your name, and having you sign the book, and making sure you got I voted sticker. When you look at open space in Radnor and the preservation of open space, it's Cheryl Tomola. The Planning Commission, Cheryl Tomola. She even provided porches for musicians in really the greatest event in Radnor Township, Porch Fest, at least to me. She was an exemplary American, Pennsylvanian neighbor and Radnor citizen. Her happiness was really doing good for Radnor, for the Commonwealth, and for the Commonweal. So thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for the people who worked with Cheryl, and we'll miss you more than we realize.
Okay, it's now time for public comment for anything on the agenda. You have 5 minutes. Please state your name
I've got a
and
timer here,
your
too,
street.
just to make sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is David Mackey. I've been here before the board a couple of months ago. I've been a small business owner in Wayne for 5 years. I've been in 3 different retail locations. This past spring, if we could turn that camera back on. The overhead, thank you. I don't know how well you can see it. It's a copy of an article that appeared in Vista today, Chester County online publication, business publication, where we announced that we were going to close the shop after nearly 5 years and move to an online model. Within a week thereafter, I was fortunate enough to learn that the former antiquity space of 122 West Lancaster Avenue would be coming available this summer. I learned that in March. In May, I signed a new lease for the space. Part of the lease, I'm in the commercial real estate business, so I insisted that the owner clean the building, replace the roof, and I later painted the doors and windows and trim, cleaned the carpets, and intended to relocate my existing sign from 2 prior locations in Wayne at 209 West Lancaster and 106 East Lancaster, simply intending to relocate my existing sign with a new black panel to the new location at 122 West Lancaster Avenue. I properly submitted my application 21 days in advance prior to the next standing DRB meeting on September 10th. I submitted those plans on August 20th, again, 21 days before the meeting. I missed that meeting, September 10th, because I was busy moving the business after closing it for a month or two, and it took us 6 weeks to move. So I somehow wrote it down wrong and missed the meeting. However, 2 hours before the DRB meeting on September 10th, Mr. Kochansky, who I've never met, and I don't believe is present here tonight, is he? Is he here? Thank you. he wrote this memo, and I have copies which I'm going to hand out to everybody as soon as I finish. There's a copy of his 3:38 p.m. memorandum to the DRB on the date of the next, or the same date, 2 hours before the DRB meeting at 6 p.m. In this memorandum, which is highlighted and on the screen, he mentioned there had recently been some discussions about the permitted area of wall signs within the district, within commercial districts, which does not include, incidentally, it seems, the WBOD, where I've been located for the last 5 years. In this memo, he goes on to say he has discussed this issue with our solicitor's office, presumably Mr. Rice, and the correct way, after 32 years, is as follows. Without going into that, because some of you know the detail, and you all get copies of this, he ostensibly imposed a new interpretation of the code to restrict the wall area of signage to a fraction of what it otherwise would be, had been in 2 prior locations for 5 years. So and it's incidentally, I should point out that Mr. Kochanski in his memo didn't seem to refer or consult with any other member of the DRB, the Planning Commission, or the Board of Commissioners. He may have been out on military leave. I don't know. I've requested public records, but that has been granted an extension. I don't believe he's attended any DRB meetings this year. I know he was out on military leave in 2023 when Gannett Fleming was hired as an assistant zoning official to support the zoning department in his absence. I don't believe that memo being written 2 hours before a standing meeting by a 15-year or 14-year employee represents best practices. And some might, although I'm not an attorney, some people might say it was an abuse of discretion. The writer had to know the impact of that memo on those that were on the agenda. I was the only one affected. Somebody who Brian represented actually conformed because they wanted a smaller sign, Johnny's Pizza. So the problem is I was the one that had to go through the delays. I had a grand opening on October 1st. I had a ribbon cutting and 5-year anniversary with the WBA on October 10th or 8th. And then I had to go before the DRB. The DRB loved my sign, loved the relocation. 3-0 approved, but I had to go to, or subject to further zoning review. Then I get a memo 2 or 3 days later from Mr. Norsini that he's reviewed it with the solicitor, the same solicitor who was opined about the original memo, presumably, or the interpretation. And I was forced to go to the zoning hearing board. So with a 45-day delay, and a legal cost of a 44-page application to the zoning hearing board by Land Use Council with addendums and site plans and so forth, I now have a $6,000 legal bill and a $900 architectural bill for the certified site plan. And I'm proud that I've got this business that's been around for 45 years, which I relocated from Chestnut Hill, but I am insulted by the fact that I've been here 5 years. I've struggled my heart, soul, and half of my IRA to keep this business going. Now I've got a glorious gallery down the road, prominent with signage, parking, and it's next to at the table. And now I have a $7,000 bill. And remarkably, ironically, you have an agenda item tonight to correct the interpretation of Mr. Kochanski's 910 memo, to correct the interpretation which forced me only, to go to the zoning hearing board. I've asked for a meeting with Mr. White. I want to say I've met with Maggie Myers twice. She's been fantastic. She's been the most responsive professional.
Sorry, Mr. Mackey, hold on. Sorry. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
You're past your 5 minutes.
That's fine.
You said you were going to pass that stuff out.
Oh, we're going to pass it out right now?
Okay.
And I just wanted to thank Maggie Myers for her professionalism, responsiveness. I've been involved in commercial real estate in Florida and Pennsylvania for 40 years, and no one has been as professional and responsive as she has. Thank you, Maggie.
Anybody else for public comment? All right. Seeing none.
I'll be really brief. My name's Brian Unoviak. I represent Sign Studios. I've been in business here. I've been in business for 38 years, but we've been in Wayne since 1999. Apologize for my voice. Anyway, I've represented a lot of businesses here, and since 1992, we've always operated under the correct interpretation of what David had presented. And I could read it, but I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's section 280-122C2, specifically for wall signage, because that's mostly what affects most people. If you look at a lot of the businesses in Wayne, a lot of them struggle to get 23 to 25 linear frontage, which equates to their signage. So on this horrible interpretation or reinterpretation, that would give them a 2-foot by 6-foot sign at best, which you could go up and down Route 30, and you'll see that nobody has a sign that small. And I can give you dozens of examples of how these signs were presented and approved under the correct interpretation. I could go all the way back to 1999 if you want me to. I'm not going to because of time. But it has affected several businesses here. It's affected specifically Legendary Smiles, which they spent over $1 million in renovations and equipment here in Wayne, and now they're delayed another month because I could have filed a variance, but I was told that didn't have to because that this misinterpretation would be corrected in tonight's meeting. But businesses like Wheelhouse, Elegant Vapes, Cocoon, Sterling Optical, Nest, they wouldn't have signs based on this new interpretation. The memo also that David referred to, a different memo, said that sign companies were consulted. I'm the local sign company here in Wayne. I was never consulted. I would like to know what sign companies were consulted. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening again. I have a separate issue. My name is David Mackey. I have a small business owner.
Yeah, sorry. It ends at that 5 minutes.
I have a different topic I mentioned to you. Different topic.
Yeah, okay, but your 5 minutes is done. You can send it to me if you want. It'd be great.
So you're not going to let me present?
It's 5 minutes, sir. It's 5 minutes on whatever topic, whether it's one topic or 5 topics. It's 5 minutes.
How am I not surprised? Hey, you have other people lined up to give 5-minute talks?
There's other business on the agenda tonight.
All right, then may I take a minute to pass this out?
Sure.
Thank you. So this is, can I mention what it is? It's about some concerns for the streetscape or lack thereof improvements on West Lancaster Avenue. It's been seriously overlooked for the past 25 or 30 years. I met with Maggie Myers on December 22nd at the Griffin Cafe.
Not on
Yeah.
mic, you're not
Yeah.
in public comment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody else for public comment? Okay, seeing none, we're going to the consent agenda. Does anyone from the public or any board members want to take anything off the consent agenda or talk about consent agenda? Seeing none. Yeah, I'd like a motion to approve
So
So, second?
and a second. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. It passes. Okay. On to the business agenda. 3A, a presentation, land development plan, 270 South Brentmore Avenue, construction of a wellness facility.
So, Commissioner, this is an upcoming land development plan, and Lou Mace is here, was hoping to be here tonight to present. I don't see them here in the audience. So we will have their presentation on for the 26th.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so 3A and 3B will be tabled. We'll go to 3C. So, yeah, can I have a motion to table 3A and 3B?
So moved.
Second.
And a second? Thank you.
Commissioner, I'm sorry. Even though they're not here for their presentation, the second one is part of how they need to move along. So these were two very
Different
separate
things.
issues. So if we could do that.
All right, yeah, sorry, I
3B,
apologize.
I'm sorry.
So, we're, yes. So, table just 3A
So moved.
and second it.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then 3B, Resolution 2026-07, authorization to engage Gilmore Associates to provide specific planning and review and ordinances analysis relating to the proposed wellness facility at 270 South Brentmore Avenue in amount not to exceed $10,000 to be reimbursed by the developer. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you,
Ed,
Commissioner.
thank
Sorry
you.
for any confusion. So this is separate from the presentation. The presentation was not part of land development. It was just for the board to familiarize yourself with their project. This is part of the land, what they need to get moving on land development, specifically zoning. So just like we use most of our consultants, this consultant will perform planning services for Lou Mace for a zoning amendment to go before the zoning hearing board. So we are asking the board to approve this. It is a pass-through cost. The developer has agreed to pay this. We will have a PSA drawn up to that effect, and we would move forward from there. So I don't want to hold this up just because they're not presenting, because that was more of a presentation as a courtesy to the board.
Thank you. Any public participation on 3B, the resolution? Okay, seeing none, we'll call a vote. All in favor? Okay, so it passes. All right, 3C, Resolution 2026-04, minor subdivision and land development plan approval. 3 Meadowcrest Road, subdivision of 1 lot with existing dwelling to be demolished into 2 lots, each with proposed dwellings.
I think
Oh, sorry.
should we, is the solicitor, so there was some discussion about tabling this. I'm looking at the solicitor.
Yeah, the board, you have an extension till the end of January on this plan, right, Nick?
Yeah, you do.
And I don't think the board's ready to act on this tonight.
That's fine. I mean,
Okay.
So-
I'm gonna make
present?
I'm gonna make a motion to table.
Can we present though, just to, like a caucus? Because we have made modifications to the plan. That's, I kind of wanted to familiarize. I thought
mean-
this was going to be listed for an additional
Yeah, I
caucus
mean-
anyway.
5 minutes.
I'm fine with 5 minutes. Okay. I get it. I get it.
That's tough for a
Yeah.
lawyer.
I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right, we're timing.
Sorry, this is just, I wanted to show, since we met with you last time, we further revised the plan, which is probably, I don't know, had to be the third or fourth revision we've made to try to answer some of the questions involved. In this case, as you know, it's a 2-lot subdivision. We further pushed the house on Lot 2 toward this area. We now have a 30-foot setback between the two property lines. Closest is 30 feet, and down as it angles down is 34.4 feet. I'll point out to the board that the requirement in this zoning district is 15 feet setback. So for example, if they did put one house here, it could be 15 feet from this property line. I understand that the neighboring house is non-conforming. As I said, the zoning requirement is 15 feet. We're providing 30. We're providing double the zoning requirement. Double what would be required here, or what would be required here if this was scraped and new development would be 15 feet for this property, 15 feet for that property. We're actually providing 30 feet on our own property. So that's what I wanted to show the board. What we did is we moved this further out. We actually reduced the size of the home on Lot 1 by creating more open space in the back, which was another comment that was made last time at the Board of Commissioners meeting. And we also pushed this building forward, as I mentioned, to give even more space in the rear yard in that location. So they were the changes that were made. This building was reduced, building area was reduced by approximately 100 square feet, as we did also push it forward. So I just wanted to show the board the changes we did make to the plan since the last time we met, and that probably was the fourth or fifth revision of this plan. That's all I really have.
Nick, hey, Nick.
Thank you.
Just, the sizes of the house remain the same, right?
Well, the one on Lot 1 is reduced, and the one on Lot 2 is also slightly reduced by approximately 100 square feet, I believe.
And are the waivers all the same?
Waivers still all the same.
Nothing's changed on the waivers?
Nothing's changed on the
Okay.
waivers. And that, well, there's a question on whether they're really waivers or whether they're permitted, but, we can,
Okay.
basically the way I worded the waiver request was if required. I don't think they're actually required, but.
Well, there's
they're-
waivers in the Gilmore's traffic letter, so there's,
Right.
I mean, that's what I'm looking at, so, okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, could I get a motion to table? And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, it passes. Oh, sorry.
There's a lot that's different, and we have a lot to say about it too, so it seems kind of crazy that he's allowed to.
We can't hear you from back there.
Come on up. The plan that was, hi, my name's Kelly Goldenberg, I'm the adjacent house. The plan that was submitted earlier this week on the Township website, which we saw through the site, the house that he's saying is smaller is actually 500 square feet larger. So whether there's mistakes with the drawings or not, it feels uncomfortable to me that we're leaving on that note. We had come prepared. My husband has 5 minutes. Lucci has 5 minutes. We all have prepared statements here, and there's a lot that's changed. So when is the appropriate time for us to be able to talk about
Yeah,
this?
sorry, can I say something? I'm glad to hear you talk. The last time they were here, it was 500 more.
The other house was, and now this house on this side,
That is, I have.
500 square feet bigger.
Yeah.
That's a total misrepresentation. I really have a problem.
But it's on the
So,
website.
point of order, point of
Yeah,
order,
So,
point of order. Yes, council, please sit down. Solicitor,
Yeah.
can we hear from the neighbors?
Yeah,
Can
let's,
we give them
this public
space,
comment, go ahead.
even though
I'm
we've
sorry,
tabled?
we need to get our paper.
Yeah,
But also, didn't we table this, so they're gonna have the public comment moment.
right, there's
We'll
another,
review this at the next meeting.
Right, right.
So then we're just gonna do it all over again. And if we're tabling the issue, it should just be tabled.
We're going to come back, this will be back on the agenda on January 26th. So I would hold,
Can I just make one quick comment?
Because the board's not voting on this, so,
Right, but we allow-
so you're fine making one short comment, but it'll be back on the 26th for formal action.
Okay, so my name is John Tolucci. I live at 113 Chew Lane. The comment I want to make is more directed to the new board members, and that you're probably not privy to a lot of the information that's already been disseminated regarding all of these
Sir,
revisions.
there's only one new board member. We've all been here, and we do want to hear you
Okay.
out. So
So
please
we
come
just
the
want to
next
make
meeting.
sure that, all the facts are out there rather than just one side of the equation, We want to make sure that the math adds up. We've been here religiously. My neighbor Jim has too. So we just want to get everything out there, and then hopefully, prevailing heads will come to the right conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on. We already voted on that. All right. A motion to table 3D, Resolution 2026.
Yeah, I'll also move to
Five.
the table 3D.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. That passed. That's all right. All right, so 3E, Resolution 2026-06, minor subdivision plan 2016 to 2020 Radnor Chester Road. Lot line change to transfer 10,048 square feet, including a barn from 220 Radnor Chester Road to 216 Radnor Chester Road. And you're here. Perfect. Thank you.
Hi, Patrick Spellman, Site Engineering Concepts. Nothing's changed since the caucus on the plan. The applicant agrees with the resolution, has no comments on that. So unless there's any specific questions anybody needs answered, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
So my recollection, Mr. Spellman, is that this is a very amicable transfer of property, and everyone's happy, and they just can't wait to get this done because it's been going on and on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And who's the artist?
There. Yeah, so some of the paintings in this room are more from that barn.
No? Okay. Well, thank you. I just wanted to make sure everyone was still happy. Everybody's
Everybody's
along,
happy. Yeah,
everybody-
we're
okay,
good. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Can we have a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And could we have any public comment on this resolution? Any commissioner comment? Staff, okay. So let's vote on this resolution. All in favor?
Aye.
It passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to 3F, a motion authorizing the township solicitor to prepare the necessary legislature, including all necessary legal work associated thereto for the potential selection and appropriation by eminent domain of approximately 14 plus or minus acres owned by Valley Forge Military Academy to be on the January 24th, 2026 Board of Agenda. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Second, thank you. Ooh. Commissioner comment.
So I can speak to this a little bit, I guess. The township is obviously always interested in open space, and this is what the area would be committed to. We are also very much looking for a solution to the ongoing problems that we have with Sulpizio Gym. We're looking to supplement and eventually replace that space, and that's what we would be looking to do. I will also say, because this is located in my ward, this is an area that has seen an absolute ton of development recently. We started with the 16 homes at Fox Lane. There was a comment that was made by one of the neighbors when that was getting up at the time, which was if we had 16 homes and they were these beautiful buildings with friendly neighbors and families that we were friends with in them, and we were asked, would you replace that with a disgusting parking lot? Would any of us say yes to that? And of course, everybody said no. And he said, well, why wouldn't you want the reverse? Replace that parking lot with those homes. It'll be an improvement. And that stuck with me, and the board was willing to rezone that lot in order to make that happen. And then we have the new continuing care facility that's being put in, which we need more of that across the country, and we especially need more of that in Radnor. And as a result, I've got no problem with that. I applaud it. I'm looking forward to that being completed and people moving in. The reality, though, is that we're having 16 new homes worth of cars on a road matrix back there in North Wayne that was not designed for it. We're having 16 new homes worth of all of the services that the township provides. We're having a continuing care facility, which is going to consume services that the township provides. And it's time now, I think, for the additional build-out in that area to come to a close. The information that we have been given by the property owner is that they are in talks to sell that to a private developer, this space that we are looking to condemn to a private developer for development into single-family dwelling homes. And I have no idea whether that's true. I have no idea whether that's part of the deal negotiations that they're pitching with us, but this is not an area that really can sustain additional development of homes, particularly at the expense of the open space that's already there that benefits everybody. So my hope is that the board will look with favor on the motion to send the solicitor to develop the process that we would need to get this started, to ideally negotiate in good faith a friendly arrangement, which we started to do, and we just haven't really heard anything back from the school. They haven't said no, they haven't said a price, they just kind of went radio silent. And if not, continue to secure the property for the township and the area to make sure that we've got access to that open space for years to come.
Thank you. Any public comment? So we'll vote on the motion. All in favor? So it passes. All right, on to 3G, ordinance 2026-02, introduction. An ordinance of Radnor Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, amending the Radnor Township Code of Ordinances, Chapter 145, contractors by adding a new Section 14, Radnor Township School District, and 15, waiver of fees.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner comment?
This is, I'm the scrivener, so I guess I'll go first. One of the things that has been extremely important to me since it was first proposed by one of my predecessors in the audience, who I won't name check, but thank you, is ensuring that the township has access to a strong base of responsible contractors. And that means people who have gone through an apprenticeship program in the same way that you would not hire a police officer who didn't go through the academy, in the same way that you would not hire a lawyer who didn't go to law school. You want someone who's well-trained for the work that they're doing, particularly in the extremely specialized and oftentimes dangerous fields that we practice in now. It's important to me that you have someone who is local. As we spend money on projects, I want the projects that we fund to continue to keep those revenue dollars in Radnor Township and Delaware County so that the money ends up going back into our tax base, into our shops and restaurants, and generally speaking, stays within our communities. And then finally, it's important to me that the work that's done be reliable in the sense that you know how long it's going to take, you know how much it's going to cost. We used to, at the township level, spend half of our agendas dealing with change orders. And we don't anymore ever since we passed the responsible contracting ordinance, which kind of gets me to the next point. This isn't just a passion project for me. This board made the decision that we wanted this for the entire township, and we did. We passed an RCO. And it has worked out phenomenally well. You might think that by hiring more responsible contractors, we would be paying more money for the work that we're getting. That has not been my observation. Because we are eliminating change orders, the work that we do ends up costing what we're told it will cost up front. The work that is done is of high quality, it's done safely, and it's done on time. And as a result, I think that we have reaped tremendous benefit from what was a philosophical point to begin with and became a very practical one in the end. We have been approached with a request, could you please forgive the cost of permits for a large project that the school district is putting on? Would love to do that. I want to be I want to not be a roadblock to that project. I want instead to participate in a positive way to the project. The problem that I have, though, is it ends up being hundreds of thousands of dollars of taxpayer money that ends up coming out of the township's coffers and going into this project, which is fine. I support that. But if we're going to do that, I would like it to be done along the lines that we have found to be extremely positive for the township. We don't get to dictate to anybody else what their policies should be. This is not an ordinance that affects all of Radnor Township. If you're building your home, you don't have to conform to the responsible contracting ordinance. But if you want to get the boon of forgiven fees from the township and take our tax dollars that would otherwise be going to fund, number one, the actual permit review process. That costs us money. And while we do ask for some of the hard costs, even under this ordinance, we would still be forgiving the soft costs. If you want those hundreds of thousands of costs to be reimposed on the township, then the request is follow the requirements of our RCO. I think that you will end up with a safer project, a better project, a faster project, a cheaper project. Ultimately, that's not my choice. But philosophically, I think that the alignment needs to be that you follow our policy if you want to use our money to build the project. So my ask is that the board look with favor on the introduction today of this ordinance.
Thanks, Jim. First, I have a couple comments. First, I'll just say thank you to Jack for doing this. I think this is a really good ordinance. I think this is the right way to think about how we trade discounts for responsible contracting. I think it's really well done. The only thing I would say that I think I would want to change is I don't want it specifically tied to the school district themselves. I think anyone that gets a waiver or hardship from the township should have to comply with the RCO, regardless of the organization. Should we choose to offer the school district this waiver or discount, however we want to term that, they would be like any other organization, have to comply. So I think, in my opinion, this is really well done. I don't know if we need Section 14. I think Section 15 is great. And then anyone who wants to apply for a hardship or a waiver and have that discussed as a potential change from us would then have to comply to this, and we don't have to limit it just to the school district.
Thank you. Any other commissioner?
I was just going to ask, do you mean nonprofits or anyone?
Anyone. Yeah, anyone that applies for a waiver, a hardship, or discount should have to comply with the RCO.
Got it. Thanks.
Well, and is approved. Applies and is approved. Sorry, I should make that really clear.
I would be fine with that amendment. I intended Section 15 to specifically cover everybody and anybody. Section 14 would be a blanket waiver for the school district subject to compliance with the RCO, but my goal was for Section 15 to apply to literally anybody who came in front of us and got that. And while I don't think that we have in the past ever waived fees for anyone other than the school district, as we take on some projects for the fire company, the library, and other organizations that receive a large fraction of their funding from the township, it kind of makes sense for us to at least consider the application here of that. Otherwise, we end up paying money to them as a donation for them to pay it back to us for their permits, so they can then build the project that we fund. I don't know administratively, it may be that we prefer that so we can book the costs in the appropriate places, but I wanted Section 15 to be global.
Yeah, and I don't think we've had other entities asking for permits to be waived, but, because I would not add it to the ordinance at this point, but if it happens, you can have that discussion at the time. You know, if there's a waiver of permits. I mean, the school district's sort of a special case because it's public tax dollars. But I'm not sure you want to open this up to all other
Understood.
entities.
I would say I don't think that we should give a, in perpetuity discount to the school district for anything, or to anyone. I think every project should be discussed and reviewed as the board. I think this in 14 pretty much gives them the discount on these fees forever, so I don't know how we would responsibly do that as stewards of the capital of our constituents. I don't think that makes sense.
I am not wedded to Section 14.
I make a motion to amend by removing Section 14. And I'm just going to use the word zhuzhing up the language of 15 in order to ensure that it flows and it is making the point that we're trying to, which is any significant institution requesting waivers should comply with our RCO.
I second that, and the technical term zhuzh is the perfect application.
Excellent. You have a motion and a second.
So this would mean that any large institution, that say has a town named after it, that does a lot of building, would have all their fees waived?
No.
If they,
As today, anybody can ask. When I redo my patio, I can ask, and Bill will laugh at me, and then he'll make me pay for my permit,
Yeah.
As well he should. What Section 15, in the absence of Section 14, would do, as I understand the two of you, would be if you ask and the board says yes, then you would have to comply with the RCO. By deleting Section 14, you get rid of the blanket approval for the school district. My original proposal was the school district doesn't have to come hat in hand every time. They don't have to pay fees if they choose to comply with the RCO. I'm hearing that there's not necessarily support for that as a standalone provision, but instead it would be anybody who gets their fees waived complies with RCO.
and the criteria,
It would be discretionary.
but then we're stuck with being arbitrary and capricious.
I think that for the school district, you can always make the argument that it's taxpayer dollars. If it is a project that the township were funding, I might in the future argue that that is taxpayer dollars. But what I would suggest is that if your concern is that we should not be forgiving fees at all,
No,
then
that's not it.
Section 15 ends up being, there's no problem with Section 15, we should just always say no to the application.
No, I'm concerned with the conditions. Maybe I'm misreading it or missing it aren't explicit, so that we say, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have to meet 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we can waive it, as opposed to at our discretion. I don't know, it's a little vague.
I think any waiver is currently at our discretion, isn't it? We don't have any proper waiver or hardship application process that's formalized today, do we? So all of them are technically at the board's discretion. I think outside of the why we would waive or would not waiver it, that would be separate from, I think, what Jack's proposing, which is, should we waive it, they would need to comply with the RCO. So because we're going to give them this discount, they have to use our responsible contractors ordinance. They have to comply with that as the quid pro.
We might decide that nobody ever qualifies.
Yeah, we could say no one ever does.
And it would apply to anyone, not just the school district.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're saying we don't need to have enumerated conditions?
No, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, a request to waive building permit fees, which can be substantial, would be considered by the board under this ordinance, and then it's discretionary. You could decide to waive the fees or not. You don't have any policy now. I mean, you've done it, I think, for some nonprofits and in special circumstances, but not on large projects.
Right.
That
And
hasn't been-
I don't think this is specifically calling out that this has any criteria for the waiver. This was actually suggesting that the school board would have waived fees in perpetuity and then would need to comply with the RCO.
I agree with taking the
If we
school
take the
board thing
14 out, then 15 is just simply that should we choose to waive fees, you would need to comply with the RCO, and it's a very simple piece. Now, if we wanted to have a formal waiver and hardship application process, then I 100% agree, we would need to have a series of requirements that we'd want to formalize. But I think with the absence of that process, now it is in complete discretion.
So, Mr. Rice, this meets muster?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, if you start trying to put rules on that hardship, this is pretty straightforward, the way I read it. Actually, thinking about it, I like making it across the board to anybody that comes in to waive fees, even though we haven't had that happen often, or rarely, on large, Bill says never, except from the school district, but, yeah, I'm fine with this.
Okay.
This formalizes what you can do now, so people are aware of it. If they're gonna ask for a waiver, this is a requirement.
Is there any concern that people might suddenly start coming to us, and all those people are going to have to come to the Board of Commissioners
For waivers?
for waivers? I mean, is that a
I mean, they can,
it just came into my head as a
they
concern.
can come now,
so-
then, they can come now and
No,
ask
yeah,
for
they
waiver
could.
of permit fees. This has
So
a,
that it does have some sort of, it has a couple of outs in here in section 15, which is you have to comply with the RCO unless you can't, kind of. The cost of the applicant's project is limited by law. That would apply to the school district. The applicant has made a good faith attempt to solicit bids for the project in compliance, and the applicant has received no responsible or responsive bids that meet the cost. So, I mean, there is a little bit of wiggle room that takes into account the reality of bidding for contracts and sort of also the cost benefit analysis, I think, is going to weigh in the favor of most people just paying the fees, right? They're going to pay the fee because if you don't ask for a waiver, you are not required to go for a responsible contractor, which it sometimes can increase the cost of the project.
All right, any other commissioners?
Should we vote on the amendment?
Yeah, but I also want public comment. I really want public comment. Thank you.
Sarah Pilling, Garrett Avenue. None of you were anywhere near the Board of Commissioners when Dave Bayshore was the manager of the township. And they waived the fees for the school district, which had they been paid, the school district would have had to go to a referendum in order to build the new high school. So I just draw your attention to that because there's corruption can move into this, and I would like to think that this township is fully transparent and fully honorable, and no one would ever think of trying to manipulate this. So I just want to remind you, it ended up in a lawsuit. And it took a lot of time, and it caused a lot of trauma, and it ruined a lot of people's reputation. So I just want to remind you about that. It wasn't that long ago.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Robert Doig, 123 Poplar Wing. So I was here when RCO was passed several years ago, and I go back to the basis for it, actually articulated by Ms. Borowski, State Representative Borowski, at the time. It is to ensure we have qualified, trained, and safe workers trained in safety on public projects here at the township. I have been to the school facility meetings. I think I was the only one here a month ago when the school district met and released the bid documents. I kid you not, I was really shocked. I'm the only one in there. What wasn't on there were the details of the bid release requirements. And what I suggest your ordinance does is ensure that here, and most importantly, a very challenging project, probably the most challenging I've seen in the area. Why? Because one, you're going to have the students there. You don't have the luxury of students not being there during the period of time. More importantly, and I can speak from personal experience as a construction accident lawyer, that you have site challenges in this construction. So what is that, and why is that? Because they're doing geothermal construction down hundreds of feet. And that's going to be adjacent to already existing pipes and other underground utility that have poor, very poor aspects and drawings to work from. So the reality is, I suggest, in this scenario, you want to have the best contractors you can find at a reasonable cost. And to do that, your RCO gets us there. It gets the township there. It gets more safety to protect our children, to protect the community, and a very difficult project. None of this was really brought up at any point that I saw, notwithstanding that these drawings and site walkthroughs were laid out, at least in the two venues that I went to. If we're going to give up township money in the form of, permit fees, yet we're not going to ensure that we have safe and very qualified contractors, I think that's a serious risk and downside for the township. In the final analysis, and I go back to another member we have in the community who's on County Council, Elaine Schaefer, this responsible contract was, I believe, passed at the county level, and then the township followed. And what I've heard from Ms. Schaefer, and I've encouraged a lot of the school board members to do, is to go to her, Councilwoman Schaefer, and ask, how have costs fared in the process? And what I've seen, just by happenstance, Ms. Schaefer twice this weekend, and I covered that issue, and she said initially it would seem that you're going to pay more, but you don't in the final analysis. Why? Because you don't, as Mr. Larkin said, find change orders repeatedly. Now, the best one to ask is really Steve Norsini over there, because he's tasked with the burden on every project that you do with going out and actually finding whether there are credible state-certified apprenticeship programs, trained programs. And I know he goes about this vigorously and well to find the most qualified contractors. Isn't that really what we want here consistently throughout the township on any project? And that's why I'm happy that you've made the amendment that you did. I hope you endorse the amendment, the ordinance.
Thank you. Okay, any more public comment? All right, seeing none, we're going to amend this.
We have, yes, so we've had a motion to amend with the removal of section 14 and some zhuzhing. James really needs the zhuzhing in there. And then, so we need to vote to approve the amended ordinance. Am
Okay.
I stating that correctly?
All right, so we'll take a vote to approve. All in favor? And it passes. All right, moving on. That is
Right.
what we did.
So that was the
Yeah.
amendment.
Yeah.
So now, I move to,
Yeah.
so I move to approve the ordinance as amended.
Second.
Okay, so,
Now
all right, so all in favor?
Aye.
All right, very good. Thank you. 3H, ordinance 2026-03, introduction. An ordinance of Radnor Township, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, amending the code of the Township of Radnor, Chapter 280, zoning, to amend Section 280-122 of Article 21, signs. Commissioner comment? Anyone?
Well, this is the issue that Mr. Mackey was speaking to, that we have previously gave him his sign, and we gave back his zoning hearing board fee. And this is just making it official to go back to the way it's been interpreted for the last 20, 30 years.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioners? Thank you.
Okay, I can speak to this. Thank you, Commissioner. So Commissioner Myers put it very succinctly. That is exactly what has occurred. So the way it was interpreted previously is now the way it is written. The way it was previously written, for the first 15 linear feet of building width, you got 2 square foot of sign. Now it says you get 2 square feet for each foot of the first 15 feet. So as opposed to getting 2 square feet, you now get 30 square feet, and the rest of the ordinance remains the same. So Solicitor Rice took the information from the chair and vice chair of the Design Review Board and created this this new ordinance to address that. So it's really as simple as that.
Thank you, Mr. Norsini. Public comment on this? Seeing none? To a vote? All in favor? Yeah, oh, wait, let's make a motion. Man.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Now we vote.
All in favor?
Public comment?
Aye. He already called.
Ah, there you go.
Okay, one more.
All right.
It's almost over, Jim.
3I, ordinance 2026-04, introduction, Radnor Township fee schedule for 2026. A little help from Mr. Tate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before you tonight is the ordinance. Annually, the township adopts by ordinance the fee schedule, the consolidated fee schedule for the township for the upcoming year, including any amendments or changes that have been proposed by staff. Before you tonight is the introduction of this ordinance, and attached in your schedule, in your agenda, is the consolidated fee schedule itself for 2026.
Thank you. Any questions from commissioners or comments?
I do have a question for Mr. Tate. Are there any, can you highlight any significant changes from the fee schedule last year?
Yes. Significant, no, but the changes are on page 9 is a change regarding the required escrow for professional service agreements for developers. And again, at the bottom of page 19 is a change in the fee schedule regarding rear yard trash collection.
Thank you.
And if I could add to that with Mr. Tate, on page 20, there has also been a change also to a rear yard trash collection schedule decision that was made where there was a reduced fee for units that are connected. We removed that, so that fee for those units will be just the same as units that are separate.
Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Public comment? Seeing none? Like a motion for this ordinance? And a second?
Second?
Got a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good, unanimous, very good. We get to skip some pages.
But you got to do that new one.
Yeah, 3J.
No, this is the amended,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Oh, she's going to do it on the new business. New business? Got it.
All right. So reports from board liaisons? Okay, new business?
The zoning hearing board
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Authorizing the solicitor to attend the zoning hearing board application involving the Wawa application.
That's the one. We know, so I couldn't have said it better, Mr. Rice. So I make a motion. I'm sorry?
Would you explain the issue?
Sure. So before the zoning hearing board, the next zoning board hearing is Waba's application for some variances, especially with regard to their signage and lighting, lights of their signs. And so I'd like to authorize, or asking that authorize that the township solicitor go to protect the interest of the township and the residents that may be affected by a 18-foot sign.
Thank you.
So could I have a motion for this?
So moved.
Second?
And a second? Thank you. Public comment? Okay, seeing none, put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And it passes. Yes. New business still.
Still under new business, so I suppose I could have gone under the reports of board liaisons. I just wanted to point out that the Board of Health had written a letter, which I sent to everyone except Howard, because I didn't have your email address, but I will forward it to you now, about sort of responsibly shopping for new carpeting in here and things to look out for, and eco-friendly things and health-friendly things. So it's all summarized in the letters that I sent you. Just wanted to mention it.
Thank you. Any old business?
Mr. President, I've got one item. I'm very, very happy to introduce the board and the public to Mr. Sam Thomas. He's in the back of the room this evening. He is our new Economic Development Manager. Sam comes to us after months of recruiting with the assistance of Juno Partners, where we screened roughly 30 candidates and ended up interviewing roughly 8 to 10 candidates. Had a finalist pool that was outstanding, and Sam rose above all and accepted our offer. So Sam joined us today, was his first day. In short order, some near-term tasks are going to be to get out in the community, introduce himself, become a face for the community, the business community especially, start developing the inventory database, the CRM type model, where we have access to inventory, who's in, who's out, upcoming vacancies, contacts, so we could start identifying trends, opportunities, threats, all of those types of things, as well as introduce Sam to our permitting process, which was a highlight of tonight's meeting. So Sam, it was a good meeting for you to be at, to see some of the real-world goings on. So we're super excited to have Sam as part of the team. He'll be part of the engineering and community development department, working for Steve and working alongside Kevin, GIS Dave, the future replacement for, the vacant positions we have in engineering right now, as well as our code inspectors as part of that entire team. So we're excited to add a new piece, and we'll be excited to add some additional pieces of that team as this year goes along. But super excited to have Sam with us tonight. Thanks for sticking it out and for being here. Appreciate it.
If I could add one thing, Mr. White, Sam was already in town meeting people today. Took one of the township cars and was out already pounding the streets.
Welcome, Sam.
Yeah, thank you. Public participation. Seeing none, seeing none. I'm just stretching it out. How about a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
And second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's how you slam a gavel.